it's very glad to hear to exchange information of MPS in China. And I hope I can introduce some information, especially on the, for example, for the history, for the society in China, and also the attitudes of Chinese government on MPS. And finally, I hope give some commercial on the welcoming, on the coming conference in China. We will hold a conference in November. So this is basically the progress in China. I think we started the MPS study is not very late, because I think from the 2011 there are several groups on MPS study, especially, for example, in our state key laboratory, we started such a local program at this point. And officially there is this should be the official supplement from the government. This is, in fact, is a foundation supported by Ministry of Education for the research on MPS. Although it is not a very big funding, it should be officially a start of the MPS research in China. And there is afterwards there is several small projects, but still until now there is not national project on MPS. We have projects spot by spot, point by point, but no very big project until now. But you can see, especially at the point of 17 or 18, Science and Technology, Department of Ministry of Science and Technology and in China began to support several projects at this point. By now, I think it should be several hundred projects started. Most of them is a very small project. Only the number of the money should be several hundred thousand, something like that. And although the supporting is limited, but we still have some progress in China. For example, in 2012, the first organ-on-chip was MPS was launched to the Chinese space station, and a first standard was admitted by Chinese government, and also the Chinese FDA approved one drug partially, I think, because Chinese don't admit the experiment without animal, so partially supported by MPS. And also during this period, we have several national society started. So firstly, this is the one of the, I call the society as I named the society as the organoid and organ-on-chips, because MPS is not so popular in China. If I say MPS, no one want to join the society. So we named it the organoid and organ-on-chips. So this society started last year from the April 2022. And this is in fact, because during the COVID, we cannot hold the conference face-to-face. So this should be the first society meeting. You can see most of the people crowded in the room, most of the, especially there are a lot of young scientists. They all standing around to hear the meeting. In fact, a number of people was outside. They cannot enter this room. By now, we have although it started only for 1 year, we have by now over 400 members from almost 100 different university institutes or even companies. And also, when I go back to China, we started another society. Because this society in biomedical engineering is most of the members come from the company, from the research institute. But this society, I think, should be very important, because most of the members is from the hospital. So you can see I'm the chair. Except me, most of the people come from the hospital. most of them, almost of them, is the vice president of the big hospital, and even from the CDC. So I think this kind of society can improve the application of our techniques to the clinical trials. And for our society, we have actively communicated with internationally. So you can see in 2018, we visited Switzerland, and at that time, this is there. Here. In fact, we visited Roche and a number of big companies. And recently, the chairman of this conference, Uwe, also visited our institute. We talk about joint cooperation. In fact, at the July 1st, we will have a German-China conference to discuss the cooperation between China and Germany. And we hold a conference almost every year. In fact, for the history, this conference have a longer history than even the IMPS, because by this year, until this year, we have 6 conference. So most of the people attend this conference, in fact, has the experience attend our conference. So you can see, Dan is here, and Lina is here, and Saka is here. So most of people have exchanged the information and do discussion in China. And this is the several pictures I showed during the conference and some visit to the institute or to the company. So for the attitudes of Chinese government, I think the government should be active. So you can see in 2011, at the end of 2011, Chinese FDA have a document. They admitted some data to them. The data is, although the data is only limited to the cell treatment or gene treatment, but they in this document they said if there is no animal models for the experiment, you can send the data to them. So after that, although I don't know if there is anyone really use this document, I think by now there is still no one to use this approval. But we cooperate with the biggest pharmacy company in China, send data to the FDA by combining our data experiment with the animal. So they finally admitted data at May this year. So this, I think, should be the first experiment accepted by the Chinese FDA. In fact, recently, the top of the FDA is pay great attention to MPS. So they asked me to give lecture to them, and all the directors and top members of their institute has come. Initially, when I go to talk, they said you should talk about organoid. So I give some information on organoid, and finally I said, you should pay attention to MPS. Organoid is only a biological technique. If you really want to be product, or really want to go to application, you should use organochip or use MPS. Finally, the top of FDA Chinese, she don't use the word of organoid. She use organochip and MPS. She said this is really important. So I think the education is also important. So if we don't tell the government the MPS, the organoid, or organochip, they don't know anything. So the education is really important. So finally I will say that this year, the meeting where I asked the FDA to hold a meeting together with me. So if everyone go there, educate them, they will accept our ideas. And also we have some push forward for the MPS. For example, we have some discussions on clinical non-animal clinical trials for the books. So this is Professor Chen's here. So we write some non-animal taste method, especially the organochip for the models. And this book, in fact, is cooperated with Chinese FDA and it was published in Chinese. And this is the homepage of Center for Drug Evaluation. In fact, this is Chinese FDA, and this is the this is the name of the drug accepted by the FDA, and in fact, this is the cooperation with us. And we still also have some scientific project in space, such as the tissue in space in USA. And in fact, this chip was launched in November last year, and recently the chip has come back to the Earth together with the astronomers. But by now, we still don't have the data because we have to take the sample back and do experiment. I hope we can get some new information from the experiment. And last few days, the MPS members do some work on the research of in all over the world. And in fact, this is a only list. So we search the publication in Chinese. So this is all the several point of list on publication. So during this research, during the search of publication, we found an important thing. There is, for example, we have, I write here is 1,478 publications. In fact, this is not real publication. Most of the publications I listed here is doctor thesis and master thesis. So in China, there is a lot of young students began to do research on MPS. So I think it should be very important because young scientists is the future of our society. And for the industry, I don't have the total number or total information of the industry, but in this conference, we have 4 companies attended. So I think it should be positive information for Chinese companies. They like to exchange information, like to take part in all of the research network in this society. So this is Avatarget. In fact, this is a spin-off of our university, and Daxiang is here, and Chuangxin Guoji is here, and Cellular Ladder is here. So they all attended the conference. So for the standardization, so we just began such work, and this year, in fact, is the first standardization for the national standardization. This standardization is on the skin one chip. So this is the member take part in the standardization. So this is in fact, we just started. So the government still need we to pay another 24 months for finally pass their evaluation. So if anyone, any Chinese company or researchers want to take part in this project, I think it should be welcome. And also there is other standards in China. It should be in the level of society. You can see for the Drug Biotechnology Society and for the Cell Biology Society. So from now, there is should be more and more standards appeared at this level. But if you want to really go to national level, it still have a long way to go. And this is some suggestion I think about. So for just like stated by chairman, so in Asia Pacific region, we should have some communications so to improve the research in these areas. I think it's very, very important. And also, we need to have some worldwide international project. Not only, I think it's not only limited on the Asia Pacific region, should be all over the world, just like a genome project. Because genome international project really approve this technique, go to application, go to industry. So such a project should be very, very important. Let all companies or scientists go together. And also, if it is possible, we can hold a sub-meeting in Asia region, so we can, for China, Japan, Korea, Australia, and all the countries around, we can go together and for discussion. And finally, we hope we can work together finally to boost the research and industry in the region. And this is the commercial, and this is a code. If you want to attend the conference, you can scan the barcode meeting. So this meeting where I said we're holding in Beijing. This time I will cooperate with the Chinese FDA to work together. So I hope not only from China, or I hope the scientists or all the members interested in this research field can attend the conference. So finally, thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much for the very hot presentation. And many things are going on, not only the research and the industry, but also the regulatory and the standardization field. Yeah. So are there any questions, comments?
Yeah, very nice summary about the status. It's fantastic. You mentioned some difference that is pretty unique in China. I see a lot of members from research hospitals, right, rather than academia. Yeah. And also you mentioned that people prefer to call it organoids and organ-on-chip rather than MPS. So what makes this difference, and what is the impact of such difference compared to international immunity MPS?
Yeah. Okay. So in fact, I talked with Dan 2 days ago. So what's the difference between China and USA? In fact, I think should be big difference. In China, doctors in hospital like to do research, because I don't think most, some part of their fundings come or the money come from research funding. So I think they not so rich as the doctors in USA. They need the supporting from the government. So they like to use new techniques. They hope they can combine with researchers in university, do together to improve the new technique, and finally use it in hospital. That's the reason why doctor is very interested to us. So in fact, I'm not a doctor, but I talked with several top of the hospital in Jiangsu province. They all like to attend our society. They said it's very good. I want to come. So I think that should be the basic between the difference between China and USA. So it is more easier. I think it should be more easier for to improve our techniques to go to the clinical trials.
Yeah, I think it's all, I'm also interested in that point. And what is the so the doctors are very interested in the new technologies, but it's the in vitro situation. Do they think that the in vitro situation collectively reflects the in vivo situation?
Yeah, the situation is not really. In fact, I think we have some. There is some progress for the decision of precision medicine, but there should be some breakthrough needed to go. So by now, I think most of research should still limited on LDT. So scientists, something like scientists started clinical trials, something like that. So if you really want to become a clinical, something like IVD, we need still have a lot of work to do.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Yes.
So thank you very much for a nice presentation. I'm really impressed by the first standard in China regarding the organ on a chip. And I really impressed the title of the standard, General Requirement on the Skin on a Chip.
Yes.
And I think the requirement, such kind of standard, is so strongly dependent on the intended use or context of use of the chip. And the intended of use or context of use of the skin on the chip has been described in this document?
No, you can see. If you see the English, you can know. it's only a technical requirement. It's not an application of the skin on chip. So for the application of the skin on chip, we have another project cooperated with Chinese FDA. So started from last year, we have a project cooperated with them. So that will be the application standard. This is only the technical. We only say how to fabricate, how to connect it, how to make the chip. So not that for the real application or real evaluation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. So next is Japan.